is.
Get the boat, man, it's time to go. Grab your baits and fishing poles. Fill the tank and then hit the road. Till you're in that fishing hole. Made up my mind, I know. Weekend warrior, I'm a pro. Fishing professional. And when I'm fishing, man, my goal is to
And that was a toad right there, dude.
It's a big one.
That was a good freaking bite, man. Hey everyone, it's Mike McClelland here with you on Pro Patterns Exposed. It's day 3 Dardanelle practice, and as you can see, the weather conditions aren't real favorable, and the bad thing about it is this is what we faced pretty much the whole practice. The first day of practice had a little bit of sun, thunderstorms started building and rolling in, and I basically, up until now, I've spent most of my practice on the bank. I mean, there's a lot of water willow in the water here, a lot of laydowns, a lot of things to fish, but one of the biggest things that we have to consider this week is there's going to be a lot of fluctuation in the river system. That's one thing about Dardanelle that really makes it kind of tough is this is on the Arkansas River. It is a reservoir, but they've got to manage the level of this reservoir to keep the rest of the river flowing correctly. So when they pull a lot of water, they pull 10, 12 inches out of the bank cover, and that can really be a tough deal. And with all this rain we've had, I know that's going to be a scenario this week. So today I'm probably going to spend the majority of the day offshore. When I say offshore, I mean there's a difference in offshore here on the Arkansas River on Lake Dardanelle than there is on a Highlands Reservoir. I mean, offshore here could be off the bank, a half a mile, but I mean generally what I'm going to be looking for is water depths that are in the 3 to 5, 7 foot zone. I've fished a little bit offshore. I've caught a couple bass in that 5 foot zone, but I can't get bit any deeper. So today I'm going to really focus on trying to find brush, rock, hard bottom, out in that zone that's just a little bit deeper, a little bit offshore. Going to work it over with a couple different crankbaits. We're going to throw a Spro Baby DD today. We're going to throw a Spro Fat John when we get up a little bit shallower. Probably pull a Carolina rig out and rig a variety of Zoom plastics. The Zoom Lizard has always been a real good bait here. A Zoom French Fry or a Zoom Forktail is another bait that I like to throw here, as well as just a Zoom Trickworm. One thing about it, in this post-spawn period, these fish really haven't been done very long. There's a ton of fry up on the bank, but some of them are starting to move out, and hopefully between a crankbait, a War Eagle spinnerbait, and a Carolina rig Zoom plastic, we'll figure something out today. Fish. Come off of there. Came off. No, it didn't. Yeah, it did. Felt like a pretty good one right there. For sure. Two bites. Well, it's more than 2 bites. That's 2 foreshore largemouth that we're looking for in this tournament. Like I said, I'm going to just spend most of the day fishing this offshore stuff. Just keep milling around until I find 4 or 5 places that I feel like I can get bit, and we'll put this week together pretty good. I don't remember if I discussed this when we were at the Alabama River last year, but one thing about it, I mean, I said earlier, I don't mind catching a fish or two, but I mean, now that I've gotten a couple bites in this area, I mean, I don't want to burn any fish, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little hook cover on my spinnerbait. It's just a little piece of plastic tubing. It's essentially the same tubing they use on the wire of the spinnerbait to keep the blades separated. And I just run that down over the hook point, and if you could see a little better, you can get it on there much easier than I do. And I just run it down over the hook point till it gets to the barb. And essentially what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to keep from wiping out a new spinnerbait by cutting the hook off of it, but I'm not going to hook any more fish through the course of the day on that spinnerbait. And to me, that's a big deal this time of year, especially now that I've kind of gotten in an area where I feel like I can get a few bites. I don't want to burn any up. Hey everyone, we're wrapping it up as you can see here with Pro Patterns Exposed, and we've even got a new camera out of the bag to finish the show up with. As you could tell, during the course of the show we had some camera issues due to the wet, miserable day, and like I said earlier, and I was somewhat jokingly, these are the kind of days that everybody out there wants to do what I do for a living, by the way, and it's one of those deals. I feel very blessed to be able to do what I do for a living, but man, days like today are not the kind of days you really enjoy getting out there. You feel like you're just kind of, struggling through trying to make things happen, and when the conditions are as miserable as they were, it makes it tough. But you know, one thing about it, I feel like I've got a pretty solid practice under my belt. The first 2 days I spent pretty much continuously on the bank, didn't fish out hardly at all. And you know, some of the things that I'm gonna catch them on this week is a 3/8 ounce Bass X swim jig. I'm probably gonna be trailing it with a Zoom super speed craw, a Zoom speed craw, and you know, a variety of colors, black and blue, some brim colors, variations of things. You know, baits that you're gonna fish shallow with. You know, I'm gonna be flipping a bait around a little bit, probably flip a Zoom tube, probably flip a brush hog, things of that nature. You know, just like I said today, it's about fishing the conditions as they're dealt to you. You know, if I'm fishing scattered grass, I'm probably gonna have a swim jig in my hand. If I get to that more matted up stuff, that's when I'm gonna pick up a flipping bait and flip a tube or a brush hog or something like that. And you know, occasionally I'm gonna pick up that Spro Fat John. I mean, that bait right there has produced 2 or 3 of the better fish I've caught this week, either on the outside edge of the water willow or some of them out there on those flatter points like you saw me catch the first one this morning. I feel like today was not a bust. I mean, I definitely accomplished what I wanted to, and that was 2 things. Find a spot or 2 that I could catch one off the bank, and also figure out if I really wanted to spend a lot of time doing that. And unless the conditions change dramatically, more than likely I'm going to stay on the bank through the course of the first and second day. If we would get a real high pressure system, bright bluebird skies, you know, with little wind, there is a chance I might slip out there and throw a Carolina rig, you know, like we did today. Throw a Zoom centipede or a Zoom forktail or possibly a Zoom lizard, something like that, in some of that brush that I spent, you know, a fair amount of time looking for today and when I came down for pre-practice. So, you know, to sum it all up, wrapped around a 1/2 ounce War Eagle spinnerbait, a Fat John, flipping a bait a little bit and swimming a jig. Hopefully we'll get through Sunday, and whatever you learned here on Pro Patterns Exposed helps you somewhere down the road.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next time for an all-new, exciting episode of Exposed, Pros on Tour.
Exposed. Get the boat, man, it's time to go. Grab your baits and fishing poles. Fill the tank and then hit the road. Till you're in that fishing hole. Made up my mind, I'm no weekend warrior. I'm a pro fishing professional. And when I'm fishing, man, my goal is to win. I won't stop until I'm in that circle with legends like Rick Clunner, Kevin Van Dam. I got that Skeet Reese, I got that carrot stick. Man, if y'all see me on the lake, better make way and pray my motor quits, cause I won't lose.